Hello my lovely spectators, Dee Dee here. Welcome to my studio. So from the thumbnail and also from what's on my desk, you can tell that I am doing something a little different and a little bit exciting, a little bit, making me anxious. But anyway, this holiday season, I'm taking some inspiration from Tracie Fox. She had done some recent collaborations during the Christmas season. One was her December Daily Christmas Advent Challenger, which is primarily, I think, for a lot of her design team members. But then she also had a Christmas Clusters Challenge that she opened up to all creators. And I threw my hat into the ring. I took a chance. I signed up, and basically she included me, and I was so hyped, so honored, and like, wow, I'm included, right? Because like I'm a baby channel. Like I had 130 something subscribers, if that. So my video released December 5th, and as I was preparing for the video, I decided to look at all the other, so like almost 30 other people. So if you go back to one of those videos, you could probably see all of the links to the calendar, because it's still relatively new in the year. So you could go and see the calendar and see all the links to everybody's video, and you can catch up on that. I'll link that. Well, I have a lot of stuff to link down below. Anyway, so back to point. The reason why I was mentioning that was because I went in to look and see who else was going to be participating, and I wanted to go in, make sure that I had their channel subscribed so that I would be notified and all that good stuff, and show some love, right? And as I did that, I started looking at the channels, and I was noticing that, she had a lot of baby channels or small crafters, meaning that they were people who had channels, but they had under 1,000 subscribers. And I was like, wow, this is really cool, because, I feel like in any of the different industries, not industries, that's a bad word, but any of the different niches, right? Whether it be like the crafting or the beauty or the board gaming or, anything. There's those big channels that, everyone's flocking to, and the little channels struggle to get up in there. And I think that so far this niche, crafters, this time has been like awesome. So basically I was decided that I would want to do a video hop. So but it's specifically for small crafty creators. But anybody could do it. If you're a bigger creator and you want to do it, then tag me, and I will take a look at your answers to your questions as well. But I wanted to go out there and I'm gonna tag everybody from Tracie's collaboration that has under 1,000 subscribers, and basically it's gonna have 12 questions. 12 Days of Christmas, just the inspiration. But anyway, and it's gonna be something that we can get to know ourselves, us to you guys, and we can share a creative journey, connecting hopefully with other makers and crafters and creators. And it's just, sharing who we are and what we create and all that good stuff. So if you know someone who loves creating beautiful things, this may be a fun way to kind of let them tell their story, and viewers to get to know other smaller creators. So I've got a bunch of files in my Ko-fi shop, which include this image, right? And so this was my thumbnail. I put my photo here, and then a couple of snapshots of things that I've created in the past. I can do that. I know how to do that. I use a couple of different, softwares, whatever. And it's something fun to just add to this. So I have this as a JPEG. So if you wanted to get it, download it, and actually, set it up and keep it going, then fine. I think I'm gonna add the hashtag Small Crafty Creator Challenge. Actually I have 3 that I kind of want to go into. Support some hashtag support small creators, and hashtag creators inspiring creators, which I've been using in a lot of my videos because I think that's what we do. We watch other people, we create, we follow each other's um, items, and then we go from there and we put our twists on it anyway. So let me stop babbling because I didn't want the intro to be crazy long, but I do want you to know that this will be here. Then also the list of the questions so that you can have it on the screen. I'm not going to show you yet because I'm going to do it, on the first. So that'll be there. And then also I have another sheet kind of that can be used as a script, a beginning, and then like the hashtags and then some other hashtags and stuff like that. And also, to make sure that you post and tag me and my information is there. So this is my script. Anyway, so let me get myself ready and we're going to get into these questions. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. Thank you for coming by, and hopefully you will stick around to the end and, find out a little bit about me. Hello. So I thought I would do this face forward. And I was going to write down all of my answers, but I think I'm just going to off the cuff because, you know what, more natural, more honest, more real. But again, if you're joining the challenge and you want to do this structured and write them out beforehand, cool. So the first question is, who are you, where are you from, and do you have a day job? So yeah, it sounds like three things. So basically a who are you kind of question. So like I say in the beginning, my name is Dee. I mentioned before that I'm in New York. I live on Long Island, and I am a teacher. I teach high school math in Queens, and I've been doing that since 2001. So would be retiring hopefully next 5 years or so. But I've always been, into crafts and just like the teaching aspect of it. So question number 2, what's your type of favorite type of craft to make and why? So you can see some of the crazy over here. Paper crafts. I've always played with paper. I started the idea of scrapbooking back about 17 years ago when I was pregnant with my daughter, and that whole nesting thing came in, and so I started to with the Cricut and the Stampin' Up and all of that jazz, and learned about the stamping. But like playing with paper has always been something. So scrapbooking, card making, now doing junk journals. I also like to do painting. I'm not like an original painter and stuff like that. I usually would follow along to people on the internet, like the Art Sherpa or Painting with Jane. And I would do those kind of things in my house, and I would have friends over and we'd make a day of it. So I kind of like a little bit of everything from when I was little, decorating little boxes and things of that nature. And right now it's mostly all just paper, and I hope to get back into painting once I have like I say, welcome to my studio. It's literally this little area right here. So I'm waiting on fixing up my basement. But anyway, project, remember question number 3, what project have you always wanted to try but haven't yet? So I have been playing around with the whole junk journaling thing. I've been involved in a few challenges that incorporate that grungy, shabby chic kind of thing. I like a good goal. So my next big thing is to kind of create a full-on journal from start to finish with everything like fully embellished, fully thought, fully themed, realized. That's my goal, is to kind of get to that level where I can sit down and maybe in 3 hours a day over a couple of days or so, I could have a fully fleshed out journal. I don't know where I'm looking. I'm trying to look at the camera so that I look like I'm talking to you guys, but my eyeballs are going away, so I apologize, because usually not in the front. So what craft project are you most proud of? Um, I don't know if I have something that I'm most proud of in terms of a craft project, but I know that I have been proud of bringing crafting into my classroom. I teach geometry in the past, and we would do a lot of shape-based things, and I was able to get the kids to kind of create their own quilts, so to say, by getting some like fabric and trim from a company, not a company, like an organization out here in New York that don't get donations from all over. And we are able to go as teachers and pick up items so that we can actually what do you call it, use them in our classrooms. And we were doing reflections, rotations, and all of that good stuff. And I had the kids build a pattern, and then we were able to incorporate that. And then used the idea of tessellations, repeating in order to make a quilt that was about the size of like one of those foam core poster boards or oak tags. So they would design it, lay it out. They had to make it was really a nice little off the not off the track but like creative way for them to see how the geometry was, used in something as simple as, building a quilt, tiling, things of that nature. And then once they had done them and they completed them, I actually wrapped them all in plastic and put them all up the hallways in the school as like a gallery and put little table. So that's my craft inspiration for the kids, but then my craftiness and like was to make it look like a gallery walk. And the kids were so happy to see their stuff up on the wall, up on the walls, because we have high ceilings in the building. So that's the one that I'm most proud of. 5. What crafting skill do you wish you had learned? What crafting skill do you wish you had learned earlier? I don't know. I mean, I don't do anything that's super duper difficult. I don't think. Like I said, I've tried everything. Things come up. I mean, I've done, like I said, painting. I've done the what do you call it? The tilting with the paint. I've made the acrylic skins. I've done jelly printing. I have done follow the thing printing. I wish that I had taken up more time with learning how to develop my drawing skills, because I used to like to doodle and draw when I was in earlier grades, and then in middle school, like seventh grade, I think it was, I was going to take fashion, and I was in the fashion class for like a little while and learning about all the S curves in the body that, create our shape and stuff. And then I was offered to go to algebra, advanced algebra. And so the nerd and math person in me went that route. So I wish I maybe would have held back on rushing into academics and been able to kind of like really build that drawing. So I doodle. I do try to sketch. I can kind of copy things, but I never got to the point where I could actually self actualize, like make something that looked cohesive and built, if that makes sense. Um, from scratch, drawing an idea out of my head. So that's the one thing that I feel like I'm lacking and I wish I had taken more time with. Um, what craft? Okay, number 6. What inspires you to sit down to create? Well, I use it as an outlet. I'll be honest with that. It's a takeaway, a getaway. One of my favorite hashtags is crafting is my therapy. I have done journaling for therapy sessions and such. And I started to like actually try to draw and do my doodling and incorporate collaging and stuff like that of things that, whatever the therapist was asking for me to explore. And so she saw that and she was like, you really need to keep this up. This is awesome. So, sometimes when I'm feeling a little out of sorts, I'll come sit down here and try to like play with stuff, or maybe even just organize. Sometimes just like a good organizing session it just snaps you back into shape. But what else is inspiring is watching everybody that on YouTube. And I've been putting the hashtag creators, inspiring creators, because I really feel like there's so many wonderful people out here, and I see what they're doing. I'm like, oh my God, I want to do that. I want to try that. I want to put my own spin on that. And so that is a big thing. Just being able to connect with people who like to do the same thing that you do. So that's what's inspiring to me. So I hope that when I'm out there doing my shenanigans, that maybe somebody will kind of like be like inspired to do it, or comment, or who knows, something, right? Describe your crafting style in 3 words. Um, my crafting style is, I try linear, right? Um, and my analytical math side, any bulletin board I would do in the building was kind of like, oh, Dee Dee did that because it was so very structured and linear. Um, uh, what do you call it? Fast. I've always been made fun of if I'm in a crafting situation and we're all just sitting there chatting, and we're chilling, we're having fun and all that good stuff, and then I'm sitting there, I'm still talking and I'm still whatever, but then an hour later I've made like 20 different things. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but like people are like, oh my God, you're so fast. And I think, I don't know what the word would be, but what do you call it? Not being afraid to just throw paper to paper, if that makes sense. What would that be called? I don't know what word would be like the perfect word for that, because I watch videos, and I do it a little bit, that people are trying to match up, like, oh, does this go here, does this go there? And I kind of like, I'll do that to a point, but most of the time I just like, whatever, I just throw it there and then it just works out. So what is that word? Um it's not adventurous, it's not haphazard, I don't know. But yeah, I just try. So having a trying, whatever word that is, that describes my style. um 8, what tools or supplies you could not live without? Obviously, paper is a supply, glue is a supply. um I'm loving, I'm a heavy inker. I love inking stuff. It wasn't something that I used to like very much. But new into the journaling, it's been like, oh, okay, this is cool, and then it adds that depth. But I go a little overboard. Um, the other thing that I, you know, um, cannot live without is a good pair of scissors, right? Or a cutting tool. I actually always had scissors. I'm crappy at cutting with scissors on like the edge of something to fussy cut. Oh my God, I wish I could do that better. But now I use the knife and like a blade, a box cutter, and a ruler. I'm loving that for straight, long distances. My craft mat, I think the craft mat, right? That's a go-to. You have to have that for quick measuring, for quick, I need to cut something, I get some glue on it, whatever, doesn't matter. I could just clean it off. So, the essentials, the basic tools to help you to make the things that are in your brain that you want to create. Those are my go-to. Let's see. Question number 9. What inspired you to start your crafting journey and start a YouTube craft channel? So I actually have a couple of different channels. I've tried this before in different places. I have a lot of different loves, a lot of different hobbies besides my crafting. I also enjoy board games, and I had a channel for that. And I was doing unboxings and semi like show and tell kind of videos. Um, and then I did have another crafting. It kind of, I guess, I don't know, the whole start of a lot of my YouTubing was like back in before the vid. I was thinking about it, and then being a remote teacher, I got a whole setup, and I just needed another outlet to interact and do stuff. So I decided to like, hey, why not make a channel? Why not share my stuff. I would do some, little challenges with friends that I made around the world in different communities through Twitch and YouTube. And I just was like, you know what, I can do this myself. I like to, I actually consider myself a shy person. So for me to be up there and be a teacher, people are like, huh? But a lot of teachers that I know consider themselves shy. And then to actually put yourself out there in front of the camera, right? Well, my hands at least. Or even now, like I'm not too crazy, embarrassed or anything like that. But I was like, oh my God, I gotta do up the hair. I gotta make everything look pretty. But you know what? This is me on a daily basis. When I go to school and I have actually thrown on some makeup, the kids are like, where you going, miss? So, but with the channel, I try to have my nails done because I feel like, that's the part of me that you're seeing, and I want it to be presentable. I think I'm gone off topic. What, so basically it's just, wanting to connect with people. Even if it wasn't live in the moment, getting a ping that someone has liked your video or a comment that someone has made about something that you've done. I'm like, oh, you know what? I should have written her name down. Oh my God. There's one lady on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, because I'm cross posting now. I'm learning all this stuff. Um, that she's like she sounds like my biggest fan, and I'm going to post her name right here and give her a little shout out, and I'll probably tag her in the video because hi, because you know what, but then it makes me feel bad because I'm like, I don't remember her full tag, and you know what, this is organic and I'm just going through what I feel and what I'm thinking right now, and she came to mind. So, yeah, hello. Um, describe, okay, yeah. Number 10. What challenges have you faced as a small YouTube creator? Well, I mean, the reason why I decided to do this help is because I felt like, wow, a bigger creator, um, has given small creators the floor, has given us the trust to work with their stuff, their creations, and create our own things from that. And with a little bit of guidance, with a little bit of guidelines, but that's okay. It's always good to have a little, little direction. And that was awesome. So, um, but I think that that's lending a door to us because we watch the same people all the time. They're bigger channels. How they got big, they have their stories, their individual stories. Um, but I feel like we watch the same big channels, and I think we have a hard time getting an audience. And so that's the biggest thing, is someone taking the time to watch us to see if they connect, giving us a chance to kind of, see what we have. One of the bigger creators, I think it was Gail, maybe it might have been Gail Gastonelli or Kathy's Garden, who said, there's only so many ways that you can fold a piece of paper. And so a lot of the stuff that I watch is like very repetitious, but you're not just watching for the thing being created. At least I don't think so. I think you're watching for the vibe you get from the creator, their personality that comes through. I think that that's part of what you watch a channel for. And I think that our biggest, you know, challenge is that we just don't have the draw, and we're hard to find, if that makes sense. You know, how would they know what I'm doing unless they could Google specifically? When I say Google, it means search. Um, it's like so generic. It's become such a generic term for search. Um, how do they know to look up certain something? And then myself on my side is, how do I make sure that I can reach people, right? To help foster those connections. So that's one of the biggest challenges, or one of the few challenges that I faced. So then it says the next question is, what advice would you give a small to someone starting a craft channel, not a small, just anybody starting a craft channel. And I think that I want to give the advice, but I don't know if I can, if I actually hold the advice and take it myself, which is that, you know, you have to post a lot. You have to be posting consistency, and hopefully the algorithm, you know, I guess, is going to pick you up. But we all have lives. We all have lives. I teach math, not English. We all have lives, and you know, life can get in the way. And you know, maybe we only have time to craft on the weekends, and if we can, maybe we could do multiple videos. We all have limited technological skills, and that may be, you know, feel like you can't. But you know what? I don't like to edit. Oh, my camera's shaking. I don't like to edit that much because it's a lot of time to edit. And if I do edit, it's a quick, like a pasting of two videos together, like in this situation today. I'm not cutting out a ton of stuff. I may speed up some stuff, but since I've learned to use the pause button so I can go and ink a bunch of stuff and come back, that's kind of like the type of editing that I would do. I would have snipped out whatever, but I don't have my phone sitting there recording me for hours and hours and hours. So, yeah. So I think that, you know, don't be afraid if you're not technologically advanced like that. Do it. Some people enjoy the long videos. I think I'm seeing more long videos coming out now than ever before. And I think for a small creator, you may feel like, oh, no one's gonna watch me because they don't know me, and that may be the case. And you know, but if you throw yourself out there and you kind of like, I don't know, tag people. If you're inspired by Treasure Books, Natasha, or if you're inspired by Margaret from Seven Plaza, and you do something that they've done, you know what? Tag them. Tag them. Sometimes that will bring you another set of eyes to the table, and you know, you never know. I mean, I've had little things that I've done shared by, you know, different creators and stuff, and I'm telling you, when they like your stuff, even if they don't say anything and they just put like, that's like a fangirl moment. It's like, oh my gosh. So you definitely just need to put yourself out there. You will need to throw a lot more videos, I think, out. You gotta kind of like post all the time, and of course I'm like so not at that level yet myself. But join challenges. That's another thing. I join challenges, make content from challenges. It could help you focus on creating a project. It'll connect you to whatever communities out there. So like this one from Tracie Fox. I also do challenges every now and then from the Junk Journal Studio, and she's got a Facebook group as well. So you know, you have a little focus. You don't have to think of the idea, and then you tag these people, and you know, they'll interact with you. They have their own communities. If you're part of the challenge, you know, you'll get some, you know, you'll get some people looking at you. That's what do you call it? That's I think will be a good way to kind of think about your situation as a small creator. And the last question, which is question 12, is what do you hope viewers feel when they watch your videos? I don't know. I mean, I hope that, I mean, I've started putting, like I said, several hashtags, and I just started putting creators inspiring creators, and you know, I hope that I will inspire someone to make something or do something, or I don't know. I'm just myself when I record too. Like I said, I'm not crazy into editing. I will fumble words and I will blah, 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 and keep it moving, and just I'm being real. I'm just being myself. I don't script anything. Even in the intro, I had scripted it out, and I fumbled that as well. So you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I hope that they will find my content engaging. They'll find me a little quirky, and they'll want to come back and see what I'm putting out there. and interact. That's what we're looking for: interaction and human connection. And even though it's via, you know, apps and websites and stuff like that, you still, like I said, that ping, you're like, oh, somebody watched, oh, somebody had something to say. To lift each other up. That's kind of like what I'm thinking. And you know what? It also gives me a moment to be proud of the things that I can do well, put it out there, and hopes that someone thinks that they're, I'm looking for some validation, I guess, as well. But yeah, I just hope that people could connect with me, and that's it. I mean, that's why I'm out here. So hopefully that is the case. But yeah, so those are my 12 questions. So I'm gonna put over to the outro because I already recorded that when I did the intro. I'm like hiding over here. I probably would have probably put my logo up here. Because I'm gonna have to edit a little bit. But I thank you for listening to me. And again, I'm probably gonna mention it in the intro. Oh, I mentioned it in the intro, I mentioned it in the outro. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you are a large creator with the 12 questions, then by all means do them, and then maybe you can give us a piece of advice, us small creators. So like I said, baker's dozen. What would be that thing you could tell us to do to help us grow? That would be awesome. So off to my outro. See what I mean? Okay, so how was that? Wasn't it interesting? I know, right? So I am going back to my script because that was a lot. But I just want to thank you for hanging out with me today and for listening to my rambles and stuff like that. And to, remind you, if you're a crafty YouTuber, whether you're big or small, I would love for you to join this challenge, answer the 12 questions, and, help each other grow and support the creative community that we got going on here. So like I said before, I'm tagging the channels that I found in Tracie's Christmas clusters collaboration to start the hop. I'm not sure exactly how many of them there were. It was quite a few, which is why it inspired me to kind of do this. But anyone is welcome to join in. If you're a bigger channel and you decide that you want to join in, you know what? Add a baker's dozen question, and what piece of advice would you give us, small crafty collaborators? What would you help us in our little journey here on YouTube? And so anyway, if you do it, that would be awesome. Make sure that you use the hashtags that were shown earlier. They'll be in the description as well. They'll be in the Ko-fi shop, which I'll link below, with the questions, with the possible, thumbnail. And, that way we can find each other and give each other some love, leave some love, some comments, some likes and stuff like that. Discover new crafty friends. Maybe make some collaborations happen on our own small channels, I can't wait to see what we all, come up with. But yeah, so hashtag small crafty creator challenge, hashtag support small creators, hashtag creators inspiring creators. So there are a few more hashtags, which I am going to add to the bottom of the description here. But as of right now, I hope you enjoyed, I hope you liked, I hope you subscribed and found someone new, me, that you'd like to follow in my YouTube journey. Until next time, I will see you later. Bye bye.